At first, Mrs. Doubtfire might seem like a movie about a father that gets mistreated by his wife. But when you focus on the movie, you realize that Daniel Hillard, the main character of the movie, did not just manipulate everyone, but he manipulated you too. Mrs. Doubtfire is a movie that is generally loved, and a lot of people enjoy it. So when I come out here and claim that the main character is actually a bad person, it's a pretty bold claim, especially for a movie that is generally beloved by people that grew up with it. The movie is about Daniel Hillard, an actor who is always between jobs trying to cope with getting divorced from Miranda, his wife. She gave up on him because he's an irresponsible husband, so he secretly plots getting a partial custody of his kids by pretending to be their babysitter. He dresses up in a disguise as an older lady and works for his wife, trying to cook and obviously take care of the three kids. At the same time, he tries to stop his wife from getting into a relationship with Sue, a friend of Miranda from work, who obviously cares for her and her kids. Daniel uses comments like this.
Neither.
Neither?
They're both too brazen, dear. They cry harlot, really. I mean, the red one is traditional colour for streetwalkers, dear, and the black one is far too short. I hope you waxed. They both say to me, I'm easy, and you don't want that, dear. You want to be Kilimanjaro on your first date. Inaccessible. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? No, let's find something more your own age, all right?
To bring her down. Later, his secrets gets discovered by his youngest daughter and son, who somehow promised to keep this nanny setup a secret among them. I'm just saying, kids tend to be a little too honest sometimes, so I'm surprised they agree to keep this a secret, and they managed to keep it a secret for this long. Later on, Daniel eventually gets exposed during a dinner at a restaurant, which causes him to totally lose custody of his kids. But it's okay because he ends up getting back partial custody again at the end of the movie, so it all worked out for him. Before getting into the details of why Daniel's a bad person, I'll talk about the positives first. You can skip ahead using the timestamps in the description. The movie is overall pretty good. The acting is good, the plot is overall consistent, there's no plot holes or contradictions in the movie, and the characters are well written. Miranda is a highlight for me. She is genuinely a good person and a good mother. It's very clear that she cares a lot about her family. After divorcing her husband due to his chaotic nature, the first thing she thought about was to hire someone to look after her children while she's at work. She obviously still respects Daniel even though they aren't together anymore because she hasn't talked about him in any bad way, at least when she wasn't emotionally triggered by Daniel's words when he, as Mrs. Doubtfire, mentioned that the father should be here to watch the kids instead of a nanny. Towards the end of the movie, after Daniel was exposed to have lied to her, she still forgave him and even let the court allow him to see his kids whenever he wants. The makeup was very impressive too. It looked very believable. Stu, as well, in the movie, is genuinely a good person. Usually, movies like this would try to make the new love interest of the ex wife to be a bad person, or he's acting good in front of her, but he's actually a bad person. This movie decided to flip that over his head. Stu is generally a good person, and he generally cares about Miranda and her kids. I'll even explain this later on. So, how does Daniel manipulate people, and when did he do it? Well, you'll be surprised, my dear viewers. Daniel started manipulating you from the very beginning of the movie. After he left his job because he disagreed about cartoon characters smoking cigarettes, which, fair enough, I agree, he decides to throw a party for his son despite the mother's wishes. The mother specifically said, and even the daughter mentions this, that there should not be a party for the son because of the bad grades. However, you see the mother, when she arrives back home, she already has a cake, so she was planning to surprise the kid with a small birthday party. But Daniel thought otherwise. Daniel thought he knew best. So what did he do? He decided to throw him a party anyway. But when the mother comes home and gets mad at him for it, he gets sad and upset because she shut the party down, which also tries to make you feel bad for him. He changed the situation for him to appear as the cool, fun dad, and she's the grumpy mother. Even during their argument, he didn't have any sense of responsibility or accountability for his actions, always deflecting the blame so that he'd come out as a hero.
Oh, that's great. She called you and you bust the birthday party. That's great.
Don't you dare make me out to be the monster here, Daniel. Don't you dare. Yeah. You have all the fun and I get whatever's left over.
Oh, you chose the career, Miss
I have no choices here, Daniel. I have no choices. Even when I try to do something fun, you have to do it 10 times bigger. I bring home a birthday cake and a few gifts. You bring home the goddamn San Diego Zoo and I have to clean up after.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's not toxic waste. It's a few party plates,
Why am
huh?
I the only one that feels there has to be rules?
Oh.
Why do you always make me out to be the heavy?
Oh, I don't make you out to be anything. You do it yourself, quite naturally,
You set
Miranda.
me up, Daniel, every time.
Oh, I
You're
don't
the
set
bad
you.
guy.
Oh, lighten up, will you? Just realize you're spending too much time with those corporate clones you used to despise.
I spend too much time with you, Daniel. It's over.
And that's just the beginning. The real manipulation happens after his ex-wife picks up the kids from his place. It started from her mistake of telling him that she's placing an ad for a housekeeper and showing him the paper. This gave Daniel a golden opportunity to fraud and to manipulate his way into their lives again. First, he changed her number on the paper so that maids would be able to contact her. Then, he tired her out by calling her multiple times and making multiple expressions and caricatures that appear incompetent, so that when he called her as his Mrs. Doubtfire character, she gets convinced and agrees to meet him in person. Keep in mind, all of this could have been avoided if he was just a good husband in the first place. After he gets hired as this Doubtfire, that's when the manipulation really took off, and it gave Daniel the opportunity to manipulate everyone until he got caught. Him lying about his identity, the backstory, and him actually giving some support to Miranda in front of her kids, something that he should have been doing as a husband in the first place, is just all an act for him, or at least it feels like an act for him. Remember, he doesn't actually care about Miranda all that much.
Just tell Mom you're sorry.
Wish I could. You know, grown-up problems, they're a little more complicated, Nanny. How was the old battle axe? Your mom.
She's fine.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I hate to think that she came down with amoebic dysentery or piles.
What's amoebic dysentery?
Oh, it's some kind of infection in your tummy. We get diarrhea forever.
Diarrhea forever?
Yeah, your body dries up and you die.
No,
You die?
you don't have to be so graphic with her.
I read about it in a science book.
Why would you want Mommy to die?
Oh, honey, I don't want Mommy to die.
Then why did you say that?
Look,
I'll think good thoughts, okay?
But Mommy?
I'll try. I really will.
He blames her for the divorce, even though it was Hicks' actions that brought this in the first place.
Jesus, Randy, you took my children away from me.
And I'll tell you exact examples of what I mean by him doing things he could have been doing as a husband. Earlier in the movie, it's shown that Miranda is the woman that is always at work and Daniel is the one who spends most of the time with the kids. So when he becomes Mrs. Doubtfire, he's responsible. He tells the kids to do their homework, he cooks them dinner, he teaches them discipline, and even supports Miranda, at least until she admits she's interested in her work partner. Which shows he was capable of being responsible the entire time, but he chose not to every single time. Now, her work partner situation is just a whole new level of manipulation that was raised to levels of near murder. You see, Miranda confided in him as Mrs. Doubtfire that she was interested in Stu, someone who is working with her on a project throughout the movie. The problem for Daniel is that Stu is actually a pretty chill guy, just like I mentioned earlier. He genuinely likes Miranda, to the point that he's willing to pay for her, her kids, and her babysitter's meals at an expensive restaurant at the end of the movie. He takes them to the pool so they can have some fun. He even admits to his friend that he generally enjoys spending time with her kids. But all throughout these parts of the movie, Daniel constantly tries to sabotage a relationship between Stu and Miranda, to the point he almost killed the man, which he even acknowledges. See, Daniel figured out that Stu has an allergy to pepper, when Stu specifically told the waiter to not add pepper to his meal because of his allergy. Okay, that's not exactly my best structured sentence of all time, but you got what I'm saying. Anyway, Daniel excuses himself from the table, somehow manages to sneak into the kitchen, and just dump a whole bunch of pepper into Stu's plate, which when Stu eats it, causes him to have an allergic reaction that almost killed him. It's fair to say Daniel's lucky not to be imprisoned for attempted murder at the end of the movie. After he gets caught, the court ordered supervised visitation, which gets reverted when Daniel had the audacity to double down and blame his ex-wife for the court's decision.
Jesus, Randy, you took my children away from me. I can only see them now with supervision. Some woman who comes and watches me with the kids like I'm some sort of deviant. If I try to hug them, she wonders why. You know what that's like?
The ex-wife ended up feeling bad for him and asked the court to revert the decision of supervised visitation, which they agreed to do for some reason. The man faces no consequences for his action, not for the emotional manipulation or for trying to kill someone. He gets to see his kids whenever he wants, and he has a full-time job as an actor, along with a new show based on his Mrs. Doubtfire persona. Now sure, some might say that he learns how to be responsible through Mrs. Doubtfire, but that's not what's alluded to in the movie. During his first time as Mrs. Doubtfire, as I've mentioned before, he's immediately responsible. Again, by letting the kids do their homework, or again, by encouraging the kids to do their homework and focus on their studies, and by cooking for them, and by making sure the house is clean. Which implies he already knows how to be responsible, but chose not to be. But what do you think? Did I manage to convince you that Daniel's not a good person? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe to see the next movie review that comes out next week, and I'll see you all next time. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye for now.